Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. Beanie Sigel, whose birth name is Dwight Equin Grant, was born on March 6, 1974 and is one of the great American rappers of the early 2000s, who first became popular for his musical work with Jay-Z and Roc-A-Fella Records, releasing his then debut studio album, The Truth, through Roc-A-Fella in February 2000. Though Sigel undoubtedly had a lot of legal battles to fight throughout his career, the album was still a very big money-making success. Unfortunately, Sigel was arrested in January 2003 after allegedly punching a 53-year-old man in the face, causing damage to his eye socket. Later on July 3, 2003, Sigel turned himself in to Philadelphia police and was charged with attempted murder after supposedly firing 6 shots from a 9mm handgun at a club door, injuring 2 people. He was also charged with aggravated assault, simple assault, and possession of a criminal instrument, though his first trial ended in a hung jury and the second resulted in a not guilty verdict. But again in 2004, Sigel was found guilty of federal weapons charges and was ultimately sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in federal prison. But now listen, folks. On May 25, 2006, during a robbery in Philadelphia, Sigel was shot multiple times, though he eventually was lucky to flee the scene and drive himself to a local health facility for emergency treatment. 1 month prior to this instance, Sigel had been released from prison after serving a brief stint for child support charges. On August 15, 2009, Sigel was arrested on a drug possession charge while traveling to a concert in New Jersey when he was found in possession of nearly 50 grams of marijuana in his vehicle. Beanie's problems were nowhere near the end, for in 2010, he was charged with 3 counts of failing to file tax returns on income of over $1 million between 2003 and 2005. He pled guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 25 months in prison. We can also recall that later in 2012, Sigel was sentenced 6 to 23 months in county jail for illegal possession of prescription drugs, a ruling that was to be served concurrently with his federal sentence. Eventually, on August 14, 2014, Sigel was released from the Schuylkill Federal Correctional Institution to serve out the rest of his sentence in a halfway house in Philadelphia. But surprisingly again, Sigel was wounded in a drive-by shooting outside his Pleasantville, New Jersey home on December 5, 2014, though according to the police, he was not the intended victim. At the peak of their success, the Roc-A-Fella Records rocked the world, and Jay-Z, Dame Dash, Beanie Sigel and Memphis Bleek were swimming in a sea of fame full of platinum awards and money hinged on the state-of-the-art music tours. In a recent interview, the ever-surviving Sigel opened up about his days on the Rock and revealed to the world the exact moment his relationship with Jay-Z began to erode. Before releasing a diss track directed at his former buddy Jay-Z in 2009, Sigel Beans had developed personal misunderstandings with him at about the same time the Roc-A-Fella was suffering an unfortunate split. Still, at around this time, Sigel was marred in unending legal issues. The actual turning point in their relationship befell when Jay-Z openly told court that he wasn't accepting the court's request to be responsible for helping and keeping Sigel out of trouble. This refusal came at a critical time because Sigel was then facing court for attempted murder and a federal weapons charge. Jay-Z's response and position on this request left Sigel feeling rather betrayed and devastated. "I have never been crushed like that ever in my life," Sigel explained. "That killed me up and took away a lot of brotherhood that I thought we had," he added, though that feeling later came to pass. Being realistic and after critically looking back at the events of the day, Beans now seems to comprehend the fact as to why Jay-Z declined to be held responsible for his actions. "I believe at that time Jay-Z was thinking that I was unpredictable and bugging. I know I was out of pocket and uncontrollable," Beans conceded. The truth then remains that Beans was wilding back and constantly getting into drama wherever they went, yet Jay-Z was at the time trying hard to push and keep his business moving. While it would be a good development to hear that Jay-Z and Beanie are at peace with each other again, I remain skeptical that it will be happening anytime soon given their current unrelenting revelations. Jay-Z insists he did his part when it came to supporting Beanie Sigel, while Beanie also asserts that his downfall completely lies in Jay-Z's hands. Recently, a journalist asked Jay-Z for his reaction to Beanie going public with some grievances against him, apparently because he feels his music wasn't promoted adequately as it could have been. He has a lot to complain about. Not me. Jay-Z started out in a cheerful manner before getting a little more serious. Well, Beanie Sigel at the time, and you can look it up if you like. Just to be honest, he was driving 2 Bentleys and I don't know how. We all certainly know it's impossible to drive 2 cars at one time, but with his mama in the sticks and selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more you can do for somebody. What people choose to do when they attain of success matters, for at some point you have to look in the mirror and look at yourself. Beanie Sigel had a record deal, label and a clothing line, but never went platinum ever. I don't know in the history of rap whether anyone has done so much with so little effort, and I don't even know what more you can do for a person at that point, Jay-Z wondered. Nonetheless, Sigel has no regrets because he feels he never did diss Jay-Z. I am not really dissing Jay, Sigel explained about the song. It's certain parts in there were my emotions because it's an emotional record for me. But when I also listened to Jay's latest album Blueprint 3, I heard a lot of shots directed towards particular people, and I feel he gave out a lot of pairs of shoes on that album. I felt my feet were meant for a couple of them, Beanie emotionally said. Now with Sigel's latest revelations, it looks like we finally have the original story for the beef between Roc-A-Fella and the Lox that emerged during the early good days. According to Beanie Sigel, it all started with Jay-Z's verse on R. Kelly's Fiesta remix. Beanie says things were kicked off when Jay-Z got on the remix, which Jadakiss was originally on, and the Lox thought Jay-Z was imperceptibly taking shots. Jadakiss had that record, Bean said in an interview with Vlad. It was on that R. Kelly record that Jay-Z unfortunately took a shot at them, and both Styles P and Sheek Louch have echoed a similar sentiment in past interviews, confirming the narrative that the tension originated from Jay-Z's frequent appearance on tracks that Jadakiss and the Lox already did. Beanie Sigel recently said he didn't mean to diss Jay-Z on his track I Go Off featuring 50 Cent, who already has a weird beef with Jay. He also recently spoke to DJ Vlad during an interview about how that collaboration, which many still see as a diss, came together. From Sigel's account, he said he wanted to sign with G-Unit due to Roc-A-Fella's internal and external struggles at the time regarding both management and ownership. As such, he tapped 50 Cent for a track which later devolved into diss territory, but I remain thankful to his contributions. Sigel explains how the I Go Off song was just a record that he had and didn't have any hook on, though 50 Cent liked it, and when I sent it to him and he knocked the hook off. There is nothing of what Jay-Z claims with that record. Even when you peruse through the lyrics, there is nothing about Jay-Z in there, the Philly native Beanie Sigel asserted. To be fair to believers of the theory, Cent's message at the end of the track leaves little to the imagination. Yeah. You changed, man. You let the money change you, Jay, the Queen's MC exclaimed on the song. Meanwhile, it's fascinating to see that beef in retrospection, considering 50's own money moves and business ventures. Still, it doesn't mean that 50 Cent won't throw the occasional shot at his somewhat rival, Jay-Z. For example, he recently sided with Eminem over a debate between Shaquille O'Neal and Jamal Crawford over whether Eminem has more influence than Jay-Z. Overall, I believe their curious animosity will most likely continue, though it's undeniable that they must respect each other as hip-hop moguls. But all in all, it's quite evident that Beanie Sigel, just like R. Kelly, has come to accept the fact that Jay-Z worked with him to attain fame but abandoned him at the times he needed him most. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also, remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.